99% of the things that we worry about never even come into fruition. We over-exaggerate them, and in fact, most of the things that we worry about aren't even dealing with our present circumstances. It's either something that might happen in the future or something that already happened in the past that we have zero control over, yet we're letting it affect our current state, our emotional state, and because of that, we're not even living in the present. So I used to be a huge worrywart. I mean, I worried so often about so many different things that I remember worrying that I would get an ulcer. And so about 10 years ago, I bought a book that changed my life called How to Stop Worrying and How to Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Highly recommend it. And in this book, he recommended a strategy that I'm going to share with you guys in how to get your mind really off worrying and how to prove to yourself that the majority of the things that you worry about never come true. And so what he suggested was to create a worry card. Just some sort of like a, what are those cards called? Those stock white card things. And on that card, write down everything that you're worried about. Doesn't matter what it is. You know, maybe you're worried that you won't be able to pay the bills by the end of the month. You're not going to make enough money to pay your rent. Maybe you're worried that you know, your relationship with your significant other is going to end and you're going to end up single and lonely and you're never going to be able to find anyone. Or whatever it is you're worried about. Maybe you're worried because you hurt your arm and you worried that you're gonna fall all out of shape and you're never gonna be able to work out again. Whatever it is you're worried about, write it down on the card. Get it out of your mind, get it on the paper, write it down on the card, and then put it into your desk. Put it away like that. And then from time to time, maybe once a week or something like that, go back to that card and write a new thing about what you're worried about, whatever it is you're worried about that time, and keep doing that over time and over time. And what'll happen, in time, you'll start to realize as you look back on the weeks and the months and the years that the majority of things that you were worried about never even ended up coming true. And so it kind of teaches you that most of the things we're worried about is quite silly, and it's not worth the emotional agony of stressing and worrying about it. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I worried about so much over the years. I've been practicing this for about 10 years. I used to do it on a card, little like post-it type card thing. But back in 2012, that's when I can see I transferred this to online using Evernote. That's when I started writing down what I was worried about in Evernote. And so once a month now, what I do is I go back when I'm doing my monthly review, and I update whatever it is that I'm currently worried about. That's why I thought about this and to share this video, because I was doing my monthly review today, and I was going through my worry sheet, updating my current worries, and just chuckling as I look back at all the previous months and years, things that I worried about that never even ended up coming true. And so I thought, I got to share this. So going back to 2012, some of the things that I was originally worried about. Back in February 2012, that was when me and the mother of my daughter, we separated, and so we were going through some legal issues. And so one of the things that I was really worried about, stressing out, was that I was like never going to be able to see my daughter. That I worried that I will only be able to see my daughter once a month. Well, now I see my daughter 50% of the time. I'm with her all the time. So that didn't end up coming true. I can see I'm scrolling here to November 2012. I was worried that I'll never be able to exercise again, never be able to run, because at the time I had some injuries. Well, obviously I still exercise, I still run. I also had in there, I was worried that I was going to, I literally had in there saying I'm worried that I'm going to stay sick. Well, obviously I'm not sick anymore. That passed over. Let's see, another thing that I'm worried about, I worried in May of 2014, I worried that if I dropped out of BNI that I would lose all my customers for this business that I had at the time. Funny thing is, I'm not even up in that business anymore, so it doesn't even matter. So the thing that I was so worried about doesn't even matter, because I'm not even in that business anymore. In 2014, I had written down, September 2014, I had written that, I'm worried that I'm going to run out of money, that I'm going to go out of business. Well, I haven't run out of money, I haven't gone out of business, I've grown more successful over the years, so that didn't happen. I had, worried that I'm going to get too overwhelmed and not do anything. Let's see, also some other silly things that I had in here. Worried about making the wrong decision in stopping my business. At the time, I had a wellness business that I was a network marketing business for a company that I was working for, that I stopped working with that company. I was worried that I made the wrong decision. Well, I made the right decision. I'm so glad that I made that decision. My life's improved so much. Let's see some other silly ones here. Worried about, in October 2015, worried about not having enough money to pay the bills. Well, I survived. Let's see something else here. In 2016, worried that I was going to dig myself into credit card debt. I'm debt free, don't have any credit card debt, so I'm not worried about that. All of these over and over, you know. But every month, what I do is I write down whatever it is that I'm worried about. I go in there, whatever it is that I'm currently worried about at the moment, I write it in there. And it's just comical because I know I taught myself whatever I'm worried about now, I know in the future, whether it's a couple months or a couple years, someday I'll look at it and laugh at how silly it was that I was so worried over the situation. And so I still practice this exercise to this day of of updating my worry list. And why this is good is because the brain really can only effectively focus on one thing at a time. I mean, you know, right now I'm shooting this video, so I can't effectively think about what I'm going to get from the grocery store the next time I go next. You know, our brain can really only focus on one thing at a time. And so what this gets you to do is to get it out of your head. You know, okay, I can appreciate that this is something I'm worried about. I'm going to write it down, make note of it, put it away somewhere I don't see it every day. It's not like I have my worry list taped up on my, you know, right in front of my office so I can see it every day. He recommends to hide it. You know, take your card, write it, and then stuff it in a desk somewhere where you don't see it, and then maybe the next week come back to it, or next month. So I have this in a note in Evernote that I only come to when I'm doing my monthly review. But what it does is it gets it out of your head. Because like I said, you can only effectively focus on one thing at a time. And if you're focused on worrying, then you're not going to be able to be as productive as you could be. And so what he really recommends to do is to lose yourself in action. Amelia Earhart, she has a great quote. She actually had it painted on the side of her airplane when she flew across the ocean and the world and everything, and it said, "Always think with your stick forward." Always think with your stick forward. No, not like that, guys. So what she meant was always think with the pilot stick forward, always flying forward, because all of a sudden you're flying and you're worried about a storm that's coming, so you stop, you stop moving forward, and guess what? You're going to crash. So always think moving forward. Always think stick moving forward. Lose yourself in action. If you're worried about something, start taking action. Write it down. Appreciate that you're worried about. Hide it somewhere where you can't see it, and then get back to work. Get back to action, and out-action your worry. Out-produce whatever it is you're worried about. So with that, guys, hope you're having a great day. Take my advice. Try this out. I bet you'll be blown away over the next couple of years how you just laugh at the things that you thought you were so worried about. Get out a note card or a piece of paper or do it online. Write down all the things that you're currently worried about this moment that are going to end the world, and then hide it somewhere in a desk or hide the notepad online somewhere, and then just go back to it, you know, maybe once a week or once a month, and update whatever it is you're currently worried about, and just watch in time as you find that like 99% of the things that you were so worried about never ended up coming true. Funny how it works out like that. So with that being said, guys, hope you have a great day, a great week, great month, a great year. You know what? Let's make it a great life. Till next time. See ya.